Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you. It's Memorial Day weekend here, and I'm excited for the weekend just to kind of let go of everything and just kind of hunker down and just chill out. So I hope that you have some wonderful plans this weekend too. I'm excited to introduce you to our first guest, Fred Simpson. Now, Fred just wrote a book. And he just published a book. So we're going to be focusing on that book. Fred, tell me again, what's the name of the book?
The name of the book is Cyber Time, under the pen name. But the Cyber Time is basically scammers and hackers that are everywhere, on the net, on the phone, everywhere. So it's just to give people tools.
Yeah, and I'm going to have you pick it up later again to show the audience, but let me just give a little bit of background on you. I just wanted to let the audience know that we're going to be talking about the cyber time. It's about scammers and hackers, and this is the book you wrote because obviously you found yourself in a situation where this is everywhere, and you want to inform others and help others. You graduated high school in a small town in Montana, and you were also involved in an advanced curriculum, plus president of the choir and captain of the football team. You graduated from the class in 1972, and you went on to serving a lifelong career in construction management throughout the United States. You had many hobbies, such as hunting, all sports, and also produced many poems early due to romantic endeavors. You were married and you had a very successful life, and then you found yourself at a space and time in your life where you lost your wife and you had a lot of grief to process and deal with, and sorry for the loss of your wife. And here you are now at this stage in your life. This is, I think you mentioned that it's your third podcast now.
This is the fifth. The fifth.
Okay. So your fifth podcast. And so we're here to introduce you to the audience. Welcome to the show today. And we're here to introduce you, and let's talk about this book. Why did you write it?
Well, thank you, Camellia. I wrote the book. It was a matter of wanting to stay busy.
Oh, okay.
I found myself at a point in time, and I'll tell you this, a little bit of background. I'm 34 years clean and sober, and I'm 7 years smoke free.
Wow.
And I've lost 120 pounds. But all of that made me kind of a dull guy. So I figured, well, I need to get involved and maybe find out what my friends, my original colleagues in school, relatives, nieces, nephews, because during my career, I never was on social media, and I stayed away from it, so I was not distracted. And so I said, hey, I've neglected all these people and at least contact with them. So it was something to keep myself busy. And so I got in touch with all these people, and, small town, there's about 90 people in each class. So the whole high school was 360 people, not much at all. So I got into and became familiar with them again and caught back up where people were at. And then the downside of it, negative side of it, find out that about 40% of those people are are gone. They passed away at because of the age or illness or something else. But that's life and death situation, and the grief that I was going through trying to process, and that was all part of that. And it kind of ended up different things as far as being clean and sober, and then trying to deal with grief and process that. Kind of ran a parallel track, and I found out that God was there and carrying me all along, kind of like the footprints in the sand. And so I've gotten closer to God and to church, but down through after that process, found out all the other social media platforms and that are I call the dark side of social media, and I did get scammed. I got scammed for some money, and because I was just susceptible at that point. Then my brain kicked in, and I got smarter at that point, and realized that I need to write a book. I need to get the tools out there for people not to get scammed. And it's not just social media; it's telephone, it's everything that's out there. I mean, just like I note in the description of the book, is there's as many scams out there as there are stars in the sky, and you'd be it never ceases to amaze me what I found. When I first got into it, they were romance and small finance scams, and I lost the money. But then after that, found out the bigger bucks and what they're going after, and teams of them are going after, is cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, gold short trading, very elaborate. I mean, you're talking about teams of scammers that go to hotels and get on the internet and target people. And then also, by the time I got towards the end of my book, was AI was getting very prominent. Because when I started my book, it was very easy to tell somebody that was having their voice emulated and all that. It was monotone, and by the time I finished my book, it was scary, really scary. I got a software program just to check it out myself, and within 15 minutes, I was having a conversation with an AI bot, and that's scary. And then lately, I've found out a couple of people that have had their accounts pirated off of Instagram or Facebook, and they've taken their videos and their image, and they've remastered them to selling crypto and bitcoins. Mm. Not, I was worried they were going to tell me it was X-rated, but no, it was more money in trying to get people to pay out more and larger sums of money with crypto and bitcoins, because it also involves greed with people and wanting to make money fast and what they were trying to sell. I was on a site that they had a false site. I checked out the web, the target, and it had a whole platform that was made up, and it was a false platform, but it was giving you the true real time gold prices, graphs, chart, all of that, and then you had your bitcoins and everything to put in there for trading, and then come back with it all tallied up and everything. I mean, but this was all false and very elaborate. And a lot of those and a lot that I saw there, I turned into the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and IC3, which is FBI, Internet Cyber Group, that division. So they had those and they dismantled those groups. But it's just, if you can think of it, it'll happen, and somebody's going to try to get your money and try to get your information. Everything that we're in a digital age. I mean, you've got all your passwords, all your accounts, all of that, which is data mining, and AI is able to pull that out. We've seen that politically, and what's happening in the government, but they've got that available to them now also. So the magnitude and the possibilities of things that can be done against people is unfathomable. But I'm to the point now I've unplugged from those sites. But I've also, in the book, I tell the percentages, is come up with real-time stats on what's real and what's scam on the different sites. I mean, you've got, Facebook and Instagram are about 50% real, 50% scams.
Wow.
Zangy is one to really stay. If you're going to be on there, don't go there, because that's like 73% scammers. And then Telegram is like 60%, and then Signal and Google Chat. They're all at least 50% scams.
So basically, they're all hacked. They're all there to hack you. And so, and basically what you're saying is you want to prepare people to not be hacked, to not be susceptible to that. I mean, like you said, you can get drawn in so many ways by these shiny ways that they present this information and
Mm-hmm.
pull you in and then get your information, and then it's very quick. It happens very quick, and then boom, right? They have access to everything. Um, and we're talking about even, the upcoming, how they're talking about, um, the upcoming chips that they want to implant into people, things like that. But I know that there's so many, like, I know seniors, people that have been, like all of a sudden the computer will have a thing saying, your computer has been hacked, I need to get your password right now. And, then they'll say that it is like because of Microsoft or something like that. When you find out that that's not really the case, and
Right.
somebody actually took your computer over. Here's the thing, 15 minutes goes pretty quick, but what I'd love to do is I have a spot next week, and I'd love to have you come back, Fred, and we can do part two if you want. Uh,
I like that. I mean, because people need to know the information. I've got on my book,
yeah,
and in my book, it gives like 10 levels of things you can check to get to find out whether they're real or scammers, and ways to find out. And the number one is, and I'll just say right now, is to get a video call. Like us right here, right now. I mean, they can emulate certain things, but if you get a video call and you're talking to a person, and you can get them to interact and everything, that is still very hard to emulate. But there's just so many things, and the other thing, just a short thing to check. And there was a person that I met. They said, "Well, I got on Facebook, and they were helping me with the internet." And I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! They don't do that."
right.
And they said, "Well, they asked me for a money card, and then shut down my computer." And I said, "I hope you hung up on them." I said, number one rule is, if you got to pause and think about something, hang up or block them and report them. Don't go there.
Yeah,
because if you ever have to think about it in a second thought,
Yeah.
it's not right.
Let's hold up your book again. Let's hold up your book and speak the book out, the title of it, where people can get it, because there's people listening to this show and they're not watching, they're listening. So,
It's Cyber Time, and the pen name or author is Jameson Lyon, and that's how you can search for it. But you can find it on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, and about 80 other platforms, even internationally. So it's out there. You just got to do a search for Cyber Time and Jameson Lyon, and it'll pull up. It's available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. And I don't have audio book yet,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's.
Are you planning on doing okay, well, go ahead, back. Yeah.
I'm planning on doing an audio book and get it out there and make it more available, because it's more available to the like the truck drivers and people that are on the road and rather listen to the book
Oh, totally.
and occupy the time. Now it makes it a lot easier that way.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you come back next week. You and I can finish this conversation, do like a part two. We can go, you can maybe then take us a little bit more into the book, about some of the things that we can find in there. I think it's great that you're doing that because, especially with AI right now, especially I think the piece that you said, how you were able to say Facebook is 50%, you were able to give us the stats of the scammers that are going to be presenting themselves
And
to
those
us.
were my stats. They weren't from Facebook or they weren't
Yeah.
from Instagram or anybody
Yeah.
else.
Well, I think it's wonderful the work that you're doing. I'm glad that you came on the show today. So we'll see you again next week for part two.
Okay. Thank you, Camelia.
Yeah, and just hang tight. We're going to go on a break right now on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. Everyone, we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and tuning into the Kornelia Stephanie Show. I'm so excited to introduce you to our next guest, Kristine Genovese. She is a transformative force in holistic health, empowering healthcare professionals to reclaim their own well-being while revolutionizing the way they heal others. As the creator of the groundbreaking Soul Intelligence model, she facilitates energy-based trauma release and root cause healing without revisiting pain. She's on a mission to make the world healthier on every level, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. Kristine is launching a soul intelligence movement. I love that. A movement. Okay. That means that it's going to move. We're launching a movement. She envisions a ripple effect that changes lives, transforms healthcare, and establishes soul intelligence as a leading modality in wellness centers nationwide. Welcome to the show today.
Oh, I'm so delighted to be here, Cornelia. Thank you so much.
So the thing well, I love the whole movement idea. The ripple effect that changes lives and transforms healthcare. There's never been a better time than now.
hmm
And your vision for what is the vision of how that's going to ripple? Like, what is that? How is that happening?
Well, the cool thing is Einstein said the future of medicine was frequency. So he was on to something.
Mm.
Um, Everybody and everything is energy, right? That's the only way I'm seeing you through the Zoom. It's the only way your listeners are hearing, right? Us through the internet or airways, but we forget about that because we're like, oh, we're physical, we're corporal. Well, we're not. If we actually remember back to elementary school, we're protons, neutrons, electrons vibrating in this electromagnetic field. So it's impossible not to pick up on energy. So we tend to pick up on energies mentally, emotionally, physically. energetically. But we also get energy gets stuck in people, places, or things. And I don't think we think about that, right? Because we're just kind of caught up in our day to day. But literally, that's how everything works. And when energy is no longer in motion, emotion is supposed to be energy in motion. It gets stuck, it pools in the body, and that's when it causes dis-ease or dysfunction or dissonance in somebody's frequency. And so, what I do with partnering with holistic healthcare practitioners is I help get to the root cause. What are those underlying emotions that are stuck? What are those self-limiting beliefs that are holding this physical illness in place? And together, we work to heal the person holistically. So I always tease and say, "Oh, bring me your hot mess patients." And the truth is, everybody's a hot mess because we all have emotions. We can't get away from it.
Would you say that, do you have a percentage, like 80% emotional, 10% nutrition? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Do you know the question I'm trying to ask?
Perhaps, I mean, when we think
Is
about
it
what
like the
causes
disease?
disease,
Yeah.
yeah, what causes disease, right? There's five key things. Okay, the first four of the five we can control, which is super cool. Okay, so it's poor nutrition, right? What are we putting into this beautiful machine of ours to help it function at optimum levels? It's toxicity. That's where we're talking. Mental toxicity, emotional toxicity, physical, environmental toxicity, like all the chemicals, all the stuff, the people, the energy vampires that are around you, all the toxicity. Then we talk about movement or lack of movement. Sitting is the new smoking. That is a big challenge for us.
Yeah.
So that's three of them. So what did I forget? Physical, emotional. It's also stress. How could I forget that one? That's like the biggest
Yeah.
one of all. And that's mental stress, emotional stress, physical, it's all of it. The last thing that causes disease is genetics, and it's only about 5%.
Okay, good. So the next question I have, since somebody is going to be, like you said, bring me your hot messes, right?
Yes, we're all a hot mess. That's the truth.
Right? A person that is just been diagnosed by the doctor and the doctor wants to go have your gallbladder taken out.
Oh,
Person is
fascinating.
right. That person's coming to you, and then how are we going to get to the bottom of that?
Oh my gosh, I am so glad you asked that example, actually, because I can tell you specifically, because I was just looking that up for someone. So if I talk to you about what energies are stuck in the gallbladder and what holds energy in that area, the gallbladder itself aids in digestion, like in the form of a psychological aid. So the tension a person has is like anger or rage, something left a bitter taste in their mouth. So problems here indicate like trouble dealing with feelings, and in particular, clarifying them, like what's my place in the world? Am I being recognized for what I do? This person really goes through fits of anger, but won't express their feelings. And so for this reason, they don't get rid of the bile, they store it. And so the person expresses gallbladder problems as someone who feels invaded by someone close to them and is unable to express themselves. It can also be related to like resentment and grief, particularly about men and our masculine self, because it's about achievement in the world, which, traditionally in male female is a male trait. But it's feeling irritated, depressed, indecisive, confused, angry, wounded, maybe thinking of yourself as a failure and sabotaging the opportunity for success, or feeling like second best, like neglected, unimportant, even a victim. And it's holding on to trauma and pain from the past that creates these struggles, the hardship and the lack. So that's gallbladder. You asked one.
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
That's fun.
I 1000% agree with you on that.
You
So
must know somebody. You must know
yeah.
somebody.
Well, I supported one of my clients through that particular process myself. So that's why I know. I said, give us about 2 weeks. If you still want to have an organ removed after that, then feel free to go ahead and do it. But let's get that anger out of there. And so,
Amen.
all right, that was so great. And so, um, how do you work with people? Like, do you have practitioners? Are you helping facilitating helping practitioners, or do you do the work yourself, or how does that work?
So the answer to that is all of the above. E.
Okay.
Leva. Okay. So I do have a course online at my website, it's this soulintelligencemethod.com. And I do have a course that's an evergreen course that someone can take, whether they're a healer
Hmm.
or a healthcare practitioner. And if you want to do it for yourself, that's great. If you want to do it where you get certified like a practitioner would, that's also something they can do. I've also trained practitioners, so I have a number of them listed on my website. I do sessions. I do conduct sessions.
It's funny.
But I know, right?
Yeah.
But I also have practitioners because my bandwidth, I've got some time, but not a ton of time. And what I'm really called to do is to teach other people this method, right?
Yeah.
I want to have a huge impact. And the only way I can do that is by making sure that I teach other people my method. And the cool thing is, I have 100% compliance. And what I mean by that is, in order to have a soul intelligence session, all you have to do is show up to a Zoom. That's it. You show up, you receive, that's all you need to do, which is the coolest thing in terms of being able to heal. A lot of times you have to take, a medication or a nutraceutical or something to help the body physically shift what's been stuck in there for a long time. But with my method, what I'm able to do is to work on it energetically.
Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful. So you're able to get it unstuck
Mm-hmm.
with your method
Mm-hmm.
so that the person can doesn't have to revisit that again and again and again and again. You're
Yeah, and when you talk about that too, right? Chronic conditions, if you think about what most people go to a doctor for today,
mm,
95% of doctors' visits are for chronic conditions, things that just won't heal.
mm.
You go to the doctor and they'll fix one thing and then something else goes wrong, or you're going back for the same thing over and over again. And that's because you haven't figured out what that underlying root cause is, which is why it's a perfect place for me to work in terms of functional medicine, because they treat root causes, they treat the whole person. So it's been a fabulous partnership.
So how did you get how did this all begin? I'm sure there's a nice story to this, but how long have you been on this North Node path, sounds like?
That's such a great way to put it. Yes. Well, March 12th of 2020 was a pretty impactful day in my life. I have been a corporate revenue and turnaround specialist for most of my career.
Wow.
And on that date, I got a call from the head of HR letting me know my services were no longer needed, which was a giant shock because I had just gotten a performance bonus.
Mm,
We're just making the turn, year one of a planned 3-year turnaround. And I had been begging to hire people in the fourth quarter so that we'd be able to convert the marketing leads that we had for the first quarter. Well, the CEO said no, we had to hold the line on expenses. So by the time March 12th of 2020 rolled around, it was clear we weren't going to make Q1. But my boss and I put together the board deck that showed had we been able to hire the people we asked for, we would have not only met the expectation, we would have exceeded it.
mm.
So I got that call. I was in complete shock. I'd never been fired in my whole career.
Wow.
Early 50s. I'm like, what? I always meet or
Right.
exceed expectations. What's going on? And I texted my boss and I go, I just got fired. He goes, me too. I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh.
So the CEO took our board deck, walked into the boardroom. This was a Thursday, walked in the boardroom on a Monday, and basically said that we didn't hire enough people. And he went on a hiring spree. Now, the moral of the story is karma always pays it back. And unfortunately, there was a board investigation. He was removed from office, but he put a buddy in to run it, who was kind of a puppet for him, until those two summarily ran it into the ground. So it no longer exists today, which is a shame because it was doing really good work.
Too
Uh,
bad. Too
but
bad.
what
But good for you.
but that was the divine going, oh, you're done here. We're going to
Yeah.
pull you out of that. And so I had been in my zone of excellence for a very long time, as Brandon Burchard would say, right? And it was time for me to step into my zone of genius, which really is the soul intelligence method. So because of the challenges there, I was given, a nice runway, a nice exit package that gave me time and space to
Yeah.
go within, right? So when the world was in timeout, Kristine was in timeout. meditating, praying. And I remember I had this most impactful meditation that said, you can't go back into corporate America. If you go back in, it felt like I was going to die. Like I was just like, everything in my body was like, absolutely not. And the method came through at that time.
I just want to say that's so great. I mean, what a perfect time. March 2020, we already had the Saturn Pluto Capricorn conjunction. It already had happened in January. So that was so great. So then that's when everything changed for you. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and it was just, a corporation, a corporate place that wasn't in alignment anymore with you and your soul's path. And
Hmm.
now, and you, like you said, you then got the light is where the crack happened and the light came in so that you can really receive the download and do this work, which is really amazing work. And I think that now more than ever, we need those practitioners that are practicing this wellness formula, that your method, and that there's that movement that's rippling out because now more than ever, we can heal from our past. We don't have to recreate that same thing over and over again. But one thing I do want to say, as you're facilitating and training your practitioners, that they be authentic in um, not with the whole AI thing, because this is a big thing right now. All the shiny, examples of things that what AI is doing out there. So I
Well, this
hope
is pretty
that.
much old school. We use a book of charts and a pendulum.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So it's kind of like Reiki on steroids. It's very
Oh,
specific.
oh,
So I can actually figure out when something occurred, why it occurred, like who caused hurt or harm, where are you holding it physically, mentally, emotionally, and bring it up and out. So it comes up from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind to be released.
nice. I want to let the audience know where they can look for you, where they can find you on social media, and where they can buy your book.
Oh, for sure. Well, my book is called Healing Through Soul Intelligence, and it's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I actually recorded it, so it is on Audible as well in my own voice, authentic voice. And I've actually had several people actually say, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm getting a healing because you're reading it." I'm like, "Awesome!" And my website is soulintelligencemethod.com, and people can go there and sign up for my mailing list. I do a group session once a month,
Mm. Okay, what happened?
other wounds and business and all of that good stuff that comes down that line. So if that's of interest to you and you want to check it out, you would be able to join me if you sign up for my email list.
It was such a pleasure to meet you. It's wonderful the work that you're doing. I want to thank you so much for coming on the Cornelia Stephanie Show.
It was a pleasure. And thank you for all the work you do in the world.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a break on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back. We are back. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful day. Okay, we've got Amey Deanne. She is back and she's here to continue on our conversation that we've been having with her about Finding Your Truest You series. And it is that guide, the book that she's writing, A Guide to Becoming Your Authentic Self. For those of you that are just tuning in to the Cornelia Stephanie Show, let me introduce you to Amey. Amey dedicated her earlier years to being a mom and a wife. And after facing a separation and ultimately a divorce after 29 years of marriage, Amey realized for the first time that she didn't know who she was. Like many other mothers, she had to put her own wants and needs aside to raise her children. Now that her children are adults and no longer dependent on her as they once did, Amey found herself on a unique journey of self-discovering. While continuing her career in corporate America, Amey also sought an outlet for her creativity and started a side business called Resilient. Initially created as a craft venture, Resilient was evolved into something much more meaningful. She also contributed a chapter to a best-selling Amazon book, Shine Your Light. That was the cherry on the top of Amey's healing journey. And now Amey is focusing on connecting with women across multiple platforms, empowering them to discover their truest selves. Amey exemplifies the idea that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. Woo! Did I say everything beautifully, Amey? Welcome
You
back.
did. You were awesome.
Yay. Welcome back. Happy weekend. Happy Friday.
Yes, I am so glad it's Friday.
Are you so glad it's Friday?
I am.
What time is it?
It's 2:40.
I didn't
And
mean that literally.
and it's time to relax. I want to
Oh,
talk to you
good.
about that. I want to talk to you
Okay.
about that today.
You're going to talk to us about that because today's chapter 8, we're talking about opening your mind and the challenges, opening your mind to challenges and changes.
Yes.
Is that
Yes,
what it is?
it is.
Okay.
It is. So you want me to recap for those who have
Recap.
not been with us?
Please.
The Truest You is an acronym. So we have covered 7 parts of this particular movement and chapters in the book. T was trusting yourself, trusting your gut instinct, trusting the little voice in the back of your head, trusting that you can make the right choices on your own without listening to someone else. R was recognizing that your journey is different. You're going to heal differently. You're going to get over things differently. Your journey is going to be different from anyone else's. U was unlearning negative mindset. It's very easy for us to get in those moments in time where we're playing negative tapes, we're stinking thinking, we're all of those things, beating ourselves up, which is really not good. E, which I really, really love, is embracing authenticity. Embrace who you are, whether it's a curly hair or whether it's a being sensitive or whatever it is, just embrace who you are. S was stay in the course. Stay the course. Don't give up. Sometimes you want to throw in the towel. Sometimes you want to be like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. Stay the course. T was take your time. So it's really, really easy to get in a rush. I want this right now. We live in an instant society. We want things now. We want it to happen now. And that's why T is take your time, because it's really easy to not take your time. Last week, Y was yesterday is gone, move forward. And I struggled with that a whole lot. And it's just telling you that don't reach back in those memories in the past, whether it's oh, I wish this was this way, or I loved my life when it was this way. Love your life now. Love your life in the present, and move forward. Don't stay stagnant in there. And today really is opening your mind to challenges and changes. And one of the biggest challenges that I am facing right now is finding time, not taking your time. There's a big difference. Finding time. And I tend to be like everyone else, I think, and fill my schedule full of all kinds of things. Things that I need to get done, things that I really don't need to do, things that I want to do and I don't get to. So it's really, really easy to fill your schedule full of stuff and not take a moment to yourself. And right now I'm in that rat race.
Wow, that's huge. So many people do that. So many people, I mean, I've often even found myself, like kind of feeling like, yeah, if I have like everything is like busy, 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 like schedule is filled in and whatever, then I would feel like, oh, good, I'm doing all the things, but that is not the way. That is not the way, because what we really want to do is we want to have room in the schedule, don't we?
Yes.
We want to have room in the schedule. We want to have room. We want to have space, and we want to have like room for spontaneous things.
Mm-hmm.
And, not everything so rushed and filled up and producing. It's not so much about, go, 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 go. We got to bring the balance in. What do you think about that?
Yes, I have always been a list maker. Make a list, tick off the list. I even joke if I do something that's not on the list, then I write it on the list so I can cross it off. It's a really big thing for me in my OCD, I think, is really crossing stuff off the list. But it's funny because I'll get in the middle of a devotional or something and it will say, not worrying about tomorrow or not doing that, everything that points to not being a list maker, not. And so now I try, and I even tell my mom this, I try to make that list something that I write it down so I don't forget, because inadvertently I'm going to forget something. But that doesn't mean I have to do it. That doesn't mean I have to jump right then and get it done and get it done and get it done. And I am caught in that rat race because I am still in corporate America, because I am finishing writing a book, because I am, doing all these different things, taking care of property at home. I find myself just like go, 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 and I'm not leaving that space open for myself.
Yeah, you have a lot of things on the go. I really look at you and I'm thinking to myself, how does she do all of that, right? 'Cause that's a lot. You've got a lot going on. Where is the time to receive? Where is the time? Where is the time to just be?
Yes. Right now I don't have that, and I need
Okay.
to follow my own advice and make that.
Right? It's like, where's the time to just be? Because once we are just in our beingness, right? Like we're not human machines. We're not here to, do, but you've got so many exciting things that you're doing, launching your book in the fall. All these things, getting all of this done. It's fun to collaborate. It's fun to get all the stuff done.
Yeah,
That part is all nice, but obviously you're feeling the pressure.
I am. And it's funny because everything that I have, whether it's taking care of my garden, which I love to do, whether it's writing the book and finishing that up, whether it's, all these different things that are on my plate, I actually love all of those things. But you're right, it leaves absolutely no time. And that's one of the biggest challenges I think that I face. I know sometimes my mom says everyone has the same 24 hours. And my analogy to that is everyone is in a storm. Some people have a little rowboat and some people have a yacht. And so it's kind of the same kind of analogy. I know I have the same 24 hours, but what am I going to do with it? I can't feel guilty about spending that time to myself. Whether it's at night, after work, in my room, praying, to journaling, whatever, I can't feel guilty about doing that.
I'm such a person for here's my I have a very devoted way that I listen to myself, that I've developed over the years. And the one thing that I will always do, because we go through so many things, we're going through so many changes as a humanity right now, right? There's so many things that we're constantly being bombarded by. And so one of the things that I do for myself is I say, what do you need? What do you need? I ask myself that question, like, what do you need, babe? What do you need, babe?
I
What do
like
you,
that. I
right?
like that.
And it's so great because then I'm just like, you know what I need time.
Yeah.
I need time. I need time. I just need time. I just need time. So then I know that means make room for mama.
Yeah,
Make
right.
time. Like cancel, close this all out. It's like, no,
Yes.
I need time. And
Yeah.
then once I do that and I give that to myself, because it's like, who else is going to give it to you?
Right. Right.
So right now, the reason why I'm so happy about it is because I just went through this huge thing for myself, even where I've been giving myself the time that I need. And
Awesome. Good
I
for
feel
you.
liberated. I feel liberated. I feel like, I've got my, because I feel like I've been heard, I've been listened to, and I'm taking my time. And I've even said, you know, we're going to make sure that you have that.
I'm
So
proud
it's
of you. I'm so proud of
Thank
you.
you. I'm proud of myself for that. So it's like, for those of you that are listening and tuning in, this is a big piece, especially for women, especially for the list makers, the A-type personalities, the go, 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 do, do, do. Where's your feminine? Be in your womanhood, be in your magnetics, be in your receiving, be in your dreaming, be in your beingness.
Yes.
Because the beingness has just as much value, if not more, than
It,
doing.
it really does. I think it's I used to say a long time ago when my kids were younger and growing up that I never really read a whole lot. And it wasn't until I was going through the divorce, going through my healing journey that I read, I think every self-help book, every book I could get my hands on. I read and read because I had that time. I made that time. It was quiet. I was alone and I had that time to read. And now I'll sit down to watch a TV show while my computer's in my lap. And then I do, it's too much stimulation, too much
Totally.
going on. And I have a few friends that have just recently published books and they've come out over the last couple of weeks and I've ordered them and I'm like, I am going to sit down and just read. I don't want to be bothered. I'm not going to get up and do. I'm just going to read. Just going to sit,
Yeah.
relax and read.
Yeah. I mean, that good for you. And I think also giving yourself permission, you can even say to yourself, Amey, like I said to myself, I give myself permission. You have permission to do it, and you don't need anybody else's approval. I give you permission because this is a piece. It's like, even saying it to your mind because the program wants to run and go do and produce and
Yeah.
giving yourself permission to read, giving ourselves because I'm thinking about this too. Like I thought, well, maybe the way that we used to do things, the way that we used to produce, it's changing, the way that we used to create. So maybe, if I make some time for being, like time for being, and then when I'm ready to create, just go in there and knock it out. Bang, 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 right?
Right, right.
Right? It's like bang, just like boom. And then another.
It's true. It's true. You remember last year I was, toying with the idea of writing and I had written here and there and I came to you and I was like, nothing's flowing. I can't, I have a block. I can't write. I can't think. I can't create. And, a lot of that had to do with where my mind was. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. And I didn't need to do those things. I just needed, like you said, sit down, focus and write, or sit down and create or think or whatever. Just be.
Just sit down.
Yeah, sit down.
That is hilarious. Just sit down. That's
That's it. Yeah.
that is hilarious. Yeah. So I think,
Mhm.
the bottom line is, are you giving yourself the time that you need with what was the segment, opening your mind to the challenges and to the changes and challenges. And that's a hard thing to do, to make room where we just want time. What if you want time to be lazy?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I was talking to my boyfriend earlier and I said, okay, what do we have going on Sunday, Monday? And he said, nothing. I said, okay, good. Can I just like lay in bed all day? Can I
Right?
allow myself to do that? Just watch movies all day and do absolutely nothing.
Can I get you to commit to that?
One of those days, Sunday or Monday, I am going to do that. I'm going to commit to one of those days doing nothing. Zero.
Good. Just, give yourself permission to be lazy. So I think that's wonderful. It makes me happy to hear because I know that you show up, you get things done, you do a lot of things, you deserve it. I want to let the audience know how they can find you on social media, how they can look you up, how they can get your other book, the one that you guys already had on the bestseller.
All right. You can reach me at my-resilient-journey.com. On Facebook and Instagram, it's Amey Deanne, AmeyDeanne, and also Resilient TX because I'm here in Texas on Facebook and Instagram. You can buy the book through my website, the Shine Your Light book, or you can still get it on Amazon as well. And then we actually have a release date. I haven't done a lot of advertising just yet, but that's about to change. And you can get my book October 7th.
Wow, yay. Congratulations. I mean, that's amazing. And there's going to be so much more about this book, this movement that Amey is starting, because I mean, to really find your truest you and to have a guide that helps you become your authentic self, especially at a time right now when we're so bombarded with all the shiny things and everything AI, it's frightening. So Amey, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. I'm holding you accountable to it, that you have a lazy day this weekend.
I'm going to do it.
Good. And
Thanks
I
for
want
having me again.
You're welcome. I want to thank the audience for listening and tuning in. I want to thank our producer, Nat. Thank you so much. And we're going to close the show and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.